You prophesied, or were shown rather, and is documented in the book, that there would be a number of opportunities for President Trump to appoint justices on the Supreme Court.
Correct.
So what were you given, and what do you see as still to come?
Originally, the Lord told me there was going to be 3 Supreme Court justices, and the Lord started dealing with me on it. And a little while later, He said, "No, now there's going to be 5." And so I went back and started listening to the Lord. He said, 1 will die, 1 will retire, and 3 will be caught in a scandal.
Okay, now Antonin Scalia passed away.
It was like 3 months later,
Yep.
Anthony Scalia passed away. There was 1 still yet to retire.
And that was Anthony Kennedy.
That was Anthony Kennedy. That was this one. So now the next 3 remains to be seen as to what that typical scandal may be. Now, what that is, I don't know. When it comes about, I don't know. I don't have a timeline on that. But the Lord, what the Lord is doing right now with the Supreme Court, He was telling me, is that I'm not moving the court left or right. He says, I'm moving it to righteousness. And what He was showing me in the original, that next prophecy where it talks about when Scalia had died, because at the time when Scalia died, there was huge push. They were trying to get another Supreme Court justice in before Obama was out of office.
Right. Merrick Garland was the guy who was put forward.
Sure.
And I know that conservatives have had a lot of criticism of Senator Mitch McConnell from Kentucky, who's the Senate Majority Leader. He's not been very supportive of President Trump on all issues, but to his credit, he did hold up a vote on Merrick Garland until after the presidential election.
Correct. And that, one of the things, if you go back to Anthony Scalia's funeral, when they were carrying his body up the steps to, I believe it was the courthouse or whatever it was, there was 2 signs that were given by God that this was not going to happen. And that's when I prophesied and said, because we had about an 8-month window there that they could have put another justice in. And the entire country was in full-blown panic at that point. And that's when I came out with the other prophecy, and the Lord said, no, it will not happen. This is being reserved for Donald Trump. So the day that Donald Trump got sworn in, that part of the prophecy came to pass. But the 2 signs that were given, if you listen to, everybody was looking for the sign. Sometimes God, when He speaks, He's not looking. You may have to be listening for what He's saying, right?
Right, right.
There was a siren in the background, because there was a reference there. There was a very quiet where it was there. And there was a siren in the background at the bottom of the steps. Well, at the top of the steps, when they got to the top of the steps, the siren fades away, and all of a sudden you hear this enormous train horn. And what the Lord was saying was, don't fear, America. Help is on the way, the siren. This has been reserved for my anointed Trump from the Trump train.
Gotcha.
So that's just the way God speaks to me, you know what I mean? God can't have a sense of humor.
Sure, sure.
So He was showing America that, look, this is going to be reserved for Donald Trump. There will be 5 coming.